welcome back to the Off-Grid family. Today I'm going to be reviewing this, which is a cordless soldering iron. This is from a store in the UK called Lidl, sorry. And basically it's got this company, Parkside, who make their tools for them, and they do various things. I've also got a glue gun that I'll be doing a review on shortly. But I always buy my tools from their like rival company, which is called Aldi. The company that make their tools is called Workzone, and I have had no problems with Workzone whatsoever. Literally, I've bought probably, I'd say about 30 of their tools and drill bits and things like that, and I've had no problems whatsoever. But I was in Lidl the other day and I saw this and I thought, well, I've needed a cordless soldering iron forever, and I was at one point going to make one, but I just didn't get around to it. So I thought I will buy this and I'll give it a go. If it is a good company, if they are reliable tools, then it means that I've got another way of buying tools that are within my budget, because things like this I can't normally afford. So if it's, this was $9.99, so not even £10, and if it works, then I might be able to get a few new tools and replace the old ones. So let's have a look at it. Let's do a review. The amount of times I've needed an actual soldering iron on the go, but not had one, and ended up using a lighter and a hot piece of wire, that's not ideal. But let's have a look. Okay, so it's one thing I've noticed immediately is it's standard USB. We don't have to have any strange and weird plug sockets to go with it. When I saw how thin this wire was, I thought to myself, okay, we could have a problem here, if this breaks. But it is standard USB, so not amazingly bad so far. Now I assume that just stands in like that. Plop. Yep. So to charge it, you plonk it in its like holder, which is absolutely brilliant. I love that. Okay. Right, so as always, we'll have a look at the instructions, which seem to be gigantic. It's like a map. Oh, I wonder if there's treasure. I assume that's that. Right, I'm not going to bother reading the instructions. They're all silly things. I don't like it. So, comes with 2 lots of solder. I assume that's solder. Is that just a spring? No, that is solder. And a soldering head, which is connected to what looks like one of the old bulb connections. So I assume this is just a bulb connector. So I think it's been made from, readily available bits and bobs, which is cool. I'm fine with that. How would you hold this? Yeah, so it's like that then. Wonder if it's actually got any heat. Oh yeah, it's got some power. Do you know what? That didn't take all that long. Okay, let's give it a test, shall we? Is that heat safe in there? I'd assume so. I think that is proper, nice looking actually. The fact that its dock is actually the charging station and, everything else, I think that's really nice. That's a really nice profile on it, and actually it doesn't feel too bulky in the hand, if that makes sense. It's not, it's not the smallest one in the world. This is what I'm used to holding. So there is quite a difference, but it doesn't feel too bad, Right, I've just got a random piece of PCB. I'm going to put 3 LEDs in it, and then I'm going to test to see their solder, both sets of their solder, and then my normal solder, and see how each one is, how each one works. Okay, first test is their fatter solder. Okay, so it's hot enough. Problem is the light shines on everything, like it. The light actually hinders my progress. I wonder if we can turn the light round a bit. Okay, now we're going to try with their smaller stuff. Obviously this was already heated up 2 seconds ago, so it shouldn't take as long. I actually find that the light gets in the way because it shines against it, so it's actually shining. The whole area I was doing then was shining, so I couldn't tell when the solder had beaded up. Not a major issue, but it's just something to be aware of. Instead of helping, that light seems to be hindering. Okay, and again, my solder now. Oops. Oh, there we go. Try that again, shall we? There you go. So it definitely heats up the solder enough. It looks like quite nice joins. If you have a look, it's quite nice and shiny. That, you know, the one I've just done down here doesn't look too fabulous, but you know, that wasn't the soldering iron's fault. That was my fault. So far so good. One thing I hadn't noticed was that light doesn't only stay red, it should go to green when the soldering tip has reached temperature. Well, let's see, shall we? Said after 30 seconds it should reach 300 degrees C and be at its optimum working temperature. There you go. Oh, well, there we go. That's another cool thing. After reading the instructions, it says that if you want to, you can happily put the soldering iron in the charging station, and it will it's heat safe inside it. So that's cool. This thing is quite difficult to get in, though. There's a few bits of flaked plastic in there, which probably isn't a good thing. Can't see it in there. Oh, there you go. Where it hasn't quite been drilled out properly. Oh well. I think I'd use a different USB plug than this one, to be honest. It's very, very thin. But let's have a look. Okay, so the socket's 600 milliamps, so it's not very, you know, not a super strong one, but I don't think this thing needs it. There you go, we've got both lights lit up now. Say it's charging. I think that's really nice, and I think that's quite a nice like addition. The thing is, with this, you could obviously have this powered from a power pack. So if you are out for an extended amount of time, you could actually have a normal, you know, battery recharging power pack or whatever, you know. So I actually quite like that. One thing I will say is the base is very, very slimline, so it does want to be knocked over quite easily. So maybe a little bit of non-slip on there, or if they'd made the base just a tiny bit bigger, just so it had a little bit more security. But you know, that is a minor thing. I use this for about a week, and then I'll give my final say on whether I think it's good or bad or ugly. Okay, it's been about a week and a half now, and I've been using this as much as I can. I haven't had very many projects that I've needed to do soldering, but I have gone out my way to use it and just, you know, just do soldering where and when. And one thing I found with this that could become a bit of a problem is it's made me quite lazy. Normally I'd have to go over to my little area that I've got for my electronics, and often I'd have to move a few bits and bobs, bring the stool over, bring my object to there, and then, you know, do my soldering. Whereas with this little thing, I can just grab this and do it wherever the item is, which I know is the point of it, but I've started using this instead of my actual soldering iron, just for pure laziness, you know. Now, I know this won't be able to deal with, you know, like if I'm trying to desolder a board that's from an old telly, you know, this isn't going to get hot enough to be able to do the mechanical soldering there. But everything I've used it for, which is just, you know, general small electronic soldering, it has worked, and it takes about 19 seconds to heat up from cold, and then, you know, it's only about 5-6 seconds in between each time you solder. So I think it's really, really good, and I've got to say I've genuinely found this very, very useful. So yeah, I would recommend this. This is the Parkside PLKA 3.6A2 cordless soldering iron. So yeah, if you're in the market for one, it costs $9.99, and yeah, I'd recommend it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.